everyone, welcome back to Mrs.Hausner's Crochet. Today I'm going to be crocheting a scarf. I've already started it, and I'll be telling you how my dog Emmy died. I posted some shorts about it, obviously, because I wasn't going to do a video right after that. It was kind of dramatic, chaotic, and I'm gonna talk a little grossly, I guess is what you'd say, if I say she vomited or something like that. So don't be eating while I say or tell you this story. So we went and took her to the vet to go get her pre-labs before she got fixed. That's just what our vet did. And we had the option to leave her there overnight and then she'd get fixed in the morning. Instead of taking 2 trips, you could leave her there overnight. And that's what I chose. And then she got fixed the next day. They called me and said how well it went. And then they said, all right, you can pick her up tomorrow. So she stayed there 2 nights. I picked her up. She was happy to leave, I'd say. Not ecstatic, but happy. She was on drugs and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, she's not going to be herself. She slept like the entire way home. Put her head up a couple times and then fell back asleep, which is not out of the normal for her. She normally would lay down in the car anytime we traveled, even short distances. It was just her thing. So later that night, after bringing her home, I had given her medication, some food. Her medication I gave into with a hot dog so she'd eat it. She ate it, no problems, had appetite. I was like, great. Then she went and laid down and did her own thing. I will say before this, there was like a lot of hours between this. Like I picked her up, I want to say at like sometime in the morning. I want to say 8 in the morning. And so anyways, I gave her first doses of pain meds at, I want to say 4:35, something like that. Because on the label it says her pain meds had to be 8 hours apart. So I was like, okay, we had 8. And I was like, let's give it to you at 5. And I could have given it to her sooner. I am aware of that. She was sleeping. So I was like, I'm not going to push it. If she's asleep and comfortable, I'm not going to wake her up just to make her take a pill. Anyways, also on the label it's 8 to 12 hours, so really wasn't a big deal. She took her pill, ate some food, and I was in the bedroom, and next thing I know, she's throwing up. And she threw up everything except the pill, at the time. So she had gotten her pain pill. And I was like, what the heck? And my husband and I were talking. We're like, well, could just be, we weren't expecting her to stay 2 nights, only 1, so I didn't bring any food. So they gave her their food. And it was stressful, and she's on meds, and da-da-da-da. So we're like, her tummy might be upset. She doesn't do good if she ate our other dog's food. So, made sense. The next morning, she was quiet. When I woke up, she wasn't whining or anything, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna sleep in a little bit, and I'll come and let her out at like 8 versus like 7 when I would have done it. No biggie. She wasn't whining. I had glimpsed in her kennel and she was asleep. Not like a hard glimpse, just a glimpse. At 8, I was like, well, I have to wake her up and go get her to eat. Or go to the bathroom. And I went to her kennel and she had thrown up in her kennel, pooed in her kennel, and peed. And it was like a lot. So like it was like throughout the night that I did not catch on my glimpse. If I would have, obviously I would have cleaned her up and taken her out. And then get her to go down, it's like 5 steps. That's all. 5 steps. to get outside. And she struggled with that. Then getting back up those stairs, it was even harder for her. And when she was like standing there to pee, she peed, but then she kind of just like wasn't there. It was like weird. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, let me give her some food. Or let me rephrase this. Then she came inside and she had just plopped down. And I put a bowl of rice in front of her because I wanted her to eat before I gave her any meds because I already knew she had upset stomach. So I was like, I'm gonna give her something. And then she didn't yet. I called the vet and I told them the issue, and they're like, if she vomits again, bring her right in, like, rush her in. And they're like, it could be a couple things. They went and did, I think it's called a gastro bypass or something like that. But basically, they're putting something into her stomach to make sure it doesn't twist. Because she's a big dog, or was a big dog, I'm sorry. And because she was a big dog, it was meant to lower the risk of issues. And anyways, they had found chunks of her food bowl and some nyla bones, and yeah. And they said they had to remove it because it would not come out naturally. So I was like, oh, thank goodness we were doing that. That's awesome that they were able to remove it. I was very grateful for that. And I was like, and then I was like, yeah, it's no biggie. And like, she didn't say it was no biggie, but she sure made it sound like it was no biggie. Because I'm sure she thought it too. It was probably something normal in puppies. She just said don't let her have bones anymore and give her a metal bowl instead of a plastic bowl. Which also on her bowl, I don't have a picture of it. I buried her with it. When she ate her food, she was like rough with it. So yeah, she was a chewer. Anyways, they had taken that out, removed her dew claws, and got her fixed, as one does, normal procedure. They said to do it at 6 months. We did it at 9, just because of issues with a different vet and scheduling issues. So I guess looking at it that way, I got 3 extra months with my dog because the other vet gave us scheduling issues. So I am very thankful for that. Anyways, I rushed her to the vet and they said she had a fever of 104.8. And they said that's very high. If it gets much higher, she could start having organ damage. When I rushed her in, they took her straight to the exam room and started IVs and stuff like that, like immediately, because they're like, she's throwing up and so yeah. I stayed in the town for a little bit because it was like a 35-minute drive, something like that, I don't know. And waited for them to tell me if they're keeping her overnight or not. And they had called me and they're like, I think it was like at 2 o'clock. And I had rushed her in. I want to say it was like 10 or 11 is when she went in. So 2 hours after I noticed the first vomit, if that makes sense. So, anyways, I took her in. They put her on IVs and all that, like right away. And I stayed in town. They called me at like 2 o'clock, or it's like she went out to use the bathroom. She's doing a lot better. Her temperature's down 104 versus like the 104.8. They'd like to keep her there till her fever has gone down to at least 102. And she's still on IVs. But she was able to walk at that time, and she was like completely paralyzed when I took her in. I don't know if I told you that. She wouldn't walk anymore. That's why like freaked the snot out of me. Anyways, I took her in, and yeah, and then they called me again. I want to say 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I was like, that's weird, she's calling. And the second I heard her voice, I was like, she's dead, isn't she? And she's like giving me the whole spill of what happened and all that. She ended up dying of a blood clot. I want to make this very, very clear. This was not the vet's fault. The chances of what happened to my dog is 1 in 11,000, according to Google. She was just that one. And it sucks. It is what it is, and it sucks. I've been, not gonna lie, not gonna sugarcoat it, I've been laying in bed eating cookies and crying, like, ever since she's died. We made little clay sculptures of her foot, I guess is what you call it. They didn't turn out the best, but we have them. We went to Hobby Lobby, and we bought little boxes, and we're gonna put her stuff in it. And we got some picture frames so we can get some pictures of her, like, printed instead of just on our phones. And then we felt really bad for our other dog and went and bought him, like, entire, I think it was like 6 toys, which is a lot for him, of just toys. And we got him, like, we're, like, very, very picky about what dog treats our dog gets. They normally are only allowed carrots. And we were like, we're gonna spoil him. And they had, like, these cookie Oreo themed peanut butter dog treats, and we got him those. I haven't given him any because I don't know if it's gonna make him sick, so I'm waiting. I was waiting till today, but I just now remembered about it. Anyways, Emmy is now buried. We buried her with her food bowl, one of her favorite pickles. I guess she had pickle chew bone. I don't know why I'm saying one of. It was her only pickle chew bone. And her food bowl, because she loved that. She loved her food. And I had crocheted a blanket a long time ago. And when I first got her, she would chew little holes in it. And so it had, like, my patchwork on it, where I had patched where she had chewed holes on it. And so I buried her with that. So, yeah. I want to make this very, very clear again. This was not the vet's fault. This was no one's fault. The vet even told us if I would have brought her in an hour sooner, this same result would have happened. It just happens. It happens with some dogs, and we got the short end of the stick and lost our dog. It's no one's fault. I want to make that very, very clear. I want to say thank you to everyone for your prayers and condolences. That meant a lot. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. I appreciate that too. Yeah, sorry for the, like, kind of sad, depressing video. I figured if I say what happened, why I'm not bawling my eyes out, that it might make it easier. And it gives me something to do. So, versus just lay in bed, you know? Yeah. I hope you guys have a better week than what I've had, and I will see you guys later. Bye.